Sir? His counsel ventures. Adrian's black eyes flick to the second page, the note. He reads it once, then again. His jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. Clear the room, he says quietly. Nobody argues. When Adrian Blackmore speaks in that particular tone, even his most senior executives move quickly. The door clicks shut behind the last person, leaving Adrian alone in the glass-walled conference room overlooking downtown Seattle. He reads the note a third time. Mr. Blackmore, I know you probably don't remember me. It was just one night 7 years ago at that charity gala in Portland. You were kind to me when nobody else was. I was catering staff. You asked my name. I tried to find you after I found out I was pregnant, but your company wouldn't let me through. I left messages. They told me you got hundreds from women claiming the same thing. I understood. I named her Piper. She's 6 now. She has your eyes. I mean that literally. They're completely black. The kids at school are cruel about it. She pretends she's fine, but I hear her crying at night. Last month, Piper was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. The doctors say her case is complicated. Something about her blood markers being unusual. They don't understand that she's not fully human. I told them her father had a rare genetic condition. They still look at me like I'm crazy when her blood work comes back with impossible readings. She needs treatment they're calling experimental. It costs $340,000 for the first 6 months. Our insurance won't cover it. They're calling it investigational. Without it, they've given her 6 months, maybe less. I'm not asking you to be her father. You didn't sign up for that 7 years ago. But if you have any resources, any connections to specialists who might understand her particular biology, I'm begging you. I've attached the paternity test results. I paid for it with my last credit card. I needed you to know I'm telling the truth. She loves strawberries and drawing pictures of dragons. She wants to be a veterinarian. She still believes in magic. Please. Simone Reeves. A phone number is scrawled at the bottom, along with an address in a suburb Adrian knows is one of the poorest in the Portland metro area. Adrian sets the pages down on the polished mahogany table with the careful precision of someone exercising extreme control. Then he picks up his phone and dials. Hayes, he says when his head of security answers. I need you to locate someone. Simone Reeves, Portland area. I'm sending you an address, but verify she's still there. Do not approach. Do not alarm her. Just confirm location and observe. He ends the call and dials another number. Dr. Chen, I need you to assemble a team. Pediatric oncology, hematology, and at least 2 specialists familiar with hybrid physiology. Yes, hybrid. I need them ready to consult within the hour. Cost is not a factor. Discretion is mandatory. Adrian makes 4 more calls in rapid succession, each one shorter and more commanding than the last. Then he stands, buttons his charcoal suit jacket, and walks out of the boardroom. His assistant looks up from her desk with carefully maintained professional calm, though her elevated pulse betrays her nervousness. Everyone in the building has felt the sudden shift in Adrian's energy. Reschedule everything for the next week, Adrian tells her. Cancel the Tokyo trip. Tell the board I'll call in for the vote on Thursday. Yes, sir. Is everything all right? Adrian pauses. For just a moment, something flickers across his usually impassive features. I have a daughter, he says quietly, as though testing the words. And she's dying. He doesn't wait for a response. He's already moving toward the elevator, pulling out his phone again, his mind racing through logistics and resources, and the horrifying arithmetic of months and money in medicine. The paternity test had been clear. 99.97% probability. He has a 6-year-old daughter he's never met, and she's running out of time. Simone Reeves is stacking cans of tomato sauce when her phone rings. She glances at the screen, unknown number, and almost declines. Bill collectors have gotten creative lately, and she's exhausted from her double shift at the grocery store, but something makes her answer. Is this Simone Reeves? The voice is male, professional, with an accent she can't quite place. British, maybe, or something older. Who's asking? My name is Hayes. I work for Adrian Blackmore. He received your letter. Simone's hand trembles so badly she has to lean against the shelf. He did? Mr. Blackmore is currently en route to Portland. He would like to meet with you and your daughter as soon as possible. Are you available this evening? I... Simone looks around the store wildly, as though she might find some kind of explanation written on the walls. I'm at work. I don't get off until 9. What's the address? Mr. Blackmore will meet you there. You want him to come to the grocery store? Ms. Reeves. Hayes's voice softens slightly. Mr. Blackmore is quite insistent. Time is important here. Simone gives him the address, her voice barely above a whisper. After she hangs up, she stands frozen in the canned goods aisle for a full minute before her manager walks by and clears his throat meaningfully. She finishes her shift in a daze. At 8:47 p.m., she's wiping down the conveyor belts at her register when the automatic doors slide open and a man walks in who makes everyone in the store stop and stare. He's tall, well over 6 feet, with black hair swept back from a face that could have been carved from marble. He wears a suit that probably costs more than Simone's car, and he moves with the kind of fluid grace that seems almost unnatural. His eyes scan the store, and when they land on Simone, she feels the impact like a physical touch. She remembers those eyes, completely black, no visible iris or pupil, like looking into deep water at night. Adrian Blackmore walks directly to her register. The other customers instinctively move out of his way. Simone, he says, and his voice is exactly as she remembers, low and smooth, with something almost hypnotic underneath. Mr. Blackmore, her voice comes out scratchy. I didn't expect. Where is she? The question is gentle but urgent. Simone glances at her manager, who's watching from the customer service desk with wide eyes. She's with my neighbor. Mrs. Park watches her when I work late. Simone unties her apron with shaking hands. I can take you. I'm almost done. I'll wait. Adrian steps aside, but he doesn't leave. He simply stands there, hands in his pockets, watching Simone finish closing her register with an intensity that makes her acutely aware of every movement she makes. It takes her 15 minutes to complete her closing procedures. Adrian doesn't move, doesn't complain, doesn't even look impatient. He just waits. When Simone finally hangs up her apron and grabs her purse, Adrian gestures toward the door. My car is outside. I have my own. Please, it will be faster. The car is a black sedan with windows tinted so dark they can't possibly be legal. A driver opens the back door, and Adrian waits for Simone to get in before sliding in beside her. The interior smells like leather and something else, something crisp and cold, like winter air. Simone gives her address to the driver, and the car pulls smoothly into traffic. I need you to tell me everything, Adrian says, her symptoms, the timeline, what the doctors have said. So Simone talks. She tells him about the bruises that wouldn't heal, the fevers that came and went, the crushing fatigue that made her active, energetic daughter fall asleep at the dinner table. She tells him about the emergency room visit, the blood tests, the pediatric oncologist with kind eyes who explained about white blood cells and blast percentages and treatment protocols. Adrian listens without interrupting. His expression remains neutral, but Simone notices how his hands tighten incrementally each time she describes Piper's pain. The standard treatment wasn't working, Simone continues. They said her blood chemistry is unusual. The chemo doses that should have worked didn't touch the leukemia. That's when they started using words like experimental and investigational, her voice cracks, and terminal. She's not terminal, Adrian says flatly. She's hybrid. Half vampire physiology doesn't respond to human medicine the same way. The doctors don't know what they're treating. Can you help her? Adrian turns to look at her fully for the first time since entering the car. His black eyes are absolutely unreadable, but there's something fierce in his voice when he speaks. I will help her. I should have been there from the beginning. That failure is mine, not yours. I did try to reach you. I know. My security protocols are designed to filter out exactly the kind of contact you attempted. It's a flaw I'm now acutely aware of. His jaw tightens. Tell me about her, not the medical details. Her. Simone blinks. What do you want to know? Everything. So Simone talks about Piper. She tells him about her daughter's stubborn insistence on wearing mismatched socks because she thinks it's more interesting. About how Piper arranges her stuffed animals in complex social hierarchies and gets upset if anyone moves them. about her habit of humming while she draws, always the same made-up tune, about how she asks impossible questions like, do fish get thirsty? And, if dragons were real, would they like us? Adrian listens to all of it, and something in his posture gradually shifts, not softening exactly, but changing, becoming more present. Does she know about me? He asks quietly. I told her that her father was someone I met once, someone important who lived far away. She's asked more questions lately. I think she knows I'm not telling her everything. Simone looks down at her hands. I didn't know how to explain that her father doesn't even know she exists, that I tried but couldn't reach you. You can explain that I was a fool, Adrian says, and that I'm here now. The car pulls up to a small duplex in a neighborhood where most of the streetlights are broken. Adrian studies the building for a moment, and Simone feels suddenly ashamed of the peeling paint, the cracked sidewalk, the bars on the windows. Simone, Adrian says, and she looks up. The only thing I care about in this moment is meeting my daughter. Everything else is logistics we can handle later. They get out of the car. Simone leads Adrian to the door, marked B, and knocks in a specific pattern. Mrs. Park, a tiny Korean woman in her 70s, opens the door. Her eyes go wide when she sees Adrian. This is Piper's father, Simone says simply. Mrs. Park steps aside without a word. Piper is on the couch, curled under a pink blanket, watching cartoons on an old television. She's small for 6, with pale skin that bruises too easily and hair the color of wheat fields. When she turns her head, Adrian sees eyes that mirror his own. Pure black, reflecting the TV's light like polished stones. Mama! Piper scrambles off the couch, then stops when she sees Adrian. Who's that? Simone crouches down to her daughter's level. Baby, this is Adrian. He's your dad. Piper stares at Adrian with open curiosity. My dad? Yes. Adrian moves slowly, carefully, as though approaching something precious and breakable. He lowers himself to one knee so he's at her height. Hello, Piper. I'm very sorry it took me so long to meet you. Piper tilts her head, studying him. Then she points at his eyes. You have night eyes like me. I do, Adrian agrees. We have the same eyes. The kids at school say my eyes are weird. Jesse Morgan said I look like a demon. Jesse Morgan is wrong. Your eyes are perfect. Adrian's voice is soft but absolutely certain. They're exactly as they should be. Piper considers this. Then she steps closer and reaches out to touch Adrian's hand where it rests on his knee. Her fingers are tiny and cold. Are you going to stay? She asks. Yes, Adrian says immediately. I'm going to stay, and I'm going to make sure you get better. The doctors say I'm really sick. I know, but I'm going to bring different doctors. Ones who understand your night eyes and can help you properly. Piper looks at her mother for confirmation. Simone nods, tears streaming silently down her face. Okay, Piper says. Then, with the lightning-fast mood shift of a 6-year-old, do you want to see my dragon drawings? I made 17. Adrian stands slowly. I would very much like to see your dragon drawings. Piper grabs his hand and tugs him toward Mrs. Park's dining table, which is covered with crayons and colored pencils, and sheets of paper featuring elaborate, imaginative dragons in every color combination possible. Adrian sits down and lets Piper explain each one in exhaustive detail. This one breathes ice. That one lives in volcanoes. This one is named Sparkle, and she's the princess of all dragons. Simone watches them from the doorway, unable to believe what she's seeing. Adrian Blackmore, one of the most powerful vampire lords in North America, CEO of a Fortune 500 company, notoriously cold and ruthless in business, listens to her daughter's rambling explanations with complete attention, asking questions, praising details, treating each crayon drawing like a masterpiece. When Piper yawns, Adrian notices immediately. You're tired, he says gently. I get tired a lot now, Piper admits, because I'm sick. Not for much longer. Adrian looks up at Simone. I've arranged for a medical team to meet us tomorrow morning, but tonight, Piper needs rest. He pauses. And we need to talk. Mrs. Park, who has been watching all of this with shrewd eyes, speaks up. Piper can sleep here tonight. You two have things to discuss. Mrs. Park, Simone begins. Go. The old woman waves them off. I raised 4 children. I can manage one more night with this little dragon artist. Piper is already yawning again, her energy depleting rapidly, as it often does in the evenings. Adrian watches her with an expression that Simone can't quite read, something between wonder and pain. I'll come back in the morning, Adrian tells Piper. First thing, and I'll bring someone who's going to help you feel better. Is that all right? Piper nods sleepily. Will you bring more paper? I'm almost out. I'll bring as much paper as you want. Outside, the night air is cold and damp. Adrian's driver is still waiting, but Adrian doesn't move toward the car immediately. Instead, he turns to Simone. How much do you owe? He asks bluntly. Medical bills, regular bills, everything. I can't let you just... Simone. He steps closer, and she catches that winter air scent again. My daughter has been suffering. You've been bearing this alone, struggling to keep her alive while I remained ignorant. That ends now. How much? Simone's throat tightens. Between the medical bills and regular debt? Maybe 80,000, but the treatment is no longer a concern. I'm covering all of it. The experimental protocol, the standard care, everything. Adrian pulls out his phone and types something quickly. What's your bank account information? What? No. Simone, please. He looks at her, and for the first time she sees past the controlled exterior to something raw underneath. Let me do this. Let me fix what I should have been part of from the beginning. Simone gives him the information with shaking hands. Adrian types for another moment, then puts his phone away. You'll see a deposit in the morning, enough to cover your current debts and living expenses for the next year. We can discuss more permanent arrangements after we have Piper stabilized. I don't want your money. This isn't about what you want. It's about what Piper needs. Adrian's voice is firm, but not unkind. She needs her mother healthy and present, not working double shifts and collapsing from exhaustion. She needs stability. She needs to not hear you crying at night about bills you can't pay. Simone's breath catches. How did you... You wrote that she hears you crying. If she can hear you, then you're close to breaking. Adrian's expression softens almost imperceptibly. Let me carry some of this weight. You've been strong enough for long enough. The tears come then, and Simone can't stop them. 7 years of fear and exhaustion and desperate hope crash over her all at once. She expects Adrian to step back. He seems like the type who wouldn't know how to handle emotional displays. Instead, he moves closer and rests one hand on her shoulder. The touch is light, almost tentative, but steady. She's going to survive this, Adrian says quietly. I promise you. You can't promise that, Simone whispers. The doctor said, the doctors don't know what they're treating. I do. Half-vampire children are rare, but they're not impossible to treat. Dr. Chen has handled cases like this before. The hybrid physiology is actually an advantage. Vampire healing factors, even diluted, are extraordinary. His hand tightens slightly on her shoulder. Piper is going to be fine. And you're not going to face this alone anymore. Simone looks up at him through her tears. Why are you doing this? She's my daughter. You didn't know she existed until this afternoon. That doesn't change what she is. Adrian's black eyes hold hers. I don't have a large family. I'm not close with most of the vampire community. I've spent 2 centuries mostly alone by choice. He pauses, and something flickers across his face. But I have a child, and she's sick. There is nothing more important than fixing that. I don't know how to process this. This morning, I was stacking cans and trying to figure out how to tell my daughter that we're out of options. Now you're here, and you're saying that you don't have to figure it out alone anymore. That Piper has every resource I can provide. That you both do. Adrian finally removes his hand from her shoulder. I know this is overwhelming, but right now I need you to trust me. I don't know you. No, you don't. But you knew me well enough 7 years ago to send that letter. Some part of you believed I would help if I knew. Simone thinks about that night at the gala, how Adrian had noticed she was alone in the corner, how he'd asked her name, how he'd been kind without being condescending, how he'd made her feel seen for the first time in years. Okay, she says finally. Okay, what happens now? Now I take you home. You get some sleep. Tomorrow morning, Dr. Chen and her team will meet us at Oregon Health and Science University. They're expecting us at 9. Adrian guides her gently toward the car. We'll bring Piper in for a full evaluation. They'll run proper tests, blood work designed for hybrid physiology. From there, we'll develop a treatment protocol. Just like that? Just like that. They drive to Simone's apartment, a tiny one-bedroom where she's been sleeping on the couch so Piper can have the bedroom. Adrian walks her to the door but doesn't ask to come in. Get some rest, he says. I'll be here at 8:30 to pick you both up. Adrian, Simone says as he turns to leave. Thank you. I know I should probably say more, but thank you is enough. He pauses, looking back at her. She's beautiful, Simone. You've done an extraordinary job raising her alone. I'm sorry you had to. Then he's gone, moving back to his car with that preternatural grace. Simone watches until the taillights disappear, then goes inside and sits on her couch in the dark, trying to convince herself that this is real. The next morning unfolds like a dream. Adrian arrives exactly when he said he would, this time with a second car. Both vehicles are appropriate but not ostentatious. Nice enough to be comfortable, not so flashy as to draw unwanted attention. Mrs. Park brings Piper out, who's clutching a stuffed purple dragon and wearing her favorite striped shirt. I brought paper, Adrian tells Piper immediately, and produces a bag containing what must be 500 sheets of premium drawing paper, along with a set of professional colored pencils. Piper's eyes go wide. That's so much paper! For all the dragons you're going to draw while you're getting better. At the hospital, they're ushered immediately past the waiting room to a private wing. Dr. Chen meets them personally, a small, precise woman with silver-streaked black hair and sharp, intelligent eyes. She shakes Simone's hand firmly, then crouches down to Piper's level. Hi, Piper. I'm Dr. Chen. I hear you're part vampire, just like some other kids I've helped before. Piper looks at her mother uncertainly. Am I? You are, Simone confirms. That's why your eyes are special, like your dad's. That's exactly right, Dr. Chen says warmly. And that means regular medicine doesn't work quite right for you, but I know medicine that will. How do you feel about helping me figure out the best way to make you healthy again? Will it hurt? Some parts might be a little uncomfortable, but we'll go slow, and your mom and dad will be right there with you the whole time. Is that okay? Piper looks at Adrian. He nods seriously. I'll be there for everything, every test, every treatment. You won't be alone. Okay, Piper says. What follows is a long day of tests, but unlike the frightening, confusing appointments Simone has been taking Piper to for months, these are different. Dr. Chen explains everything. The staff is gentle and patient. Adrian stays with them for every single procedure, holding Piper's hand during blood draws, distracting her with questions about her dragons during scans. Between tests, he sits with them in the comfortable private room they've been given. Piper curls up next to him on the couch and shows him videos on Simone's phone of animals doing funny things. Adrian watches each one with what appears to be genuine interest, making observations that send Piper into giggles. Simone watches them together and feels something shifting in her chest. This morning, Piper had a distant father she'd never met. Now she has someone holding her hand through scary medical tests, someone promising to make her better, someone looking at her like she's the most important thing in the world. Late in the afternoon, Dr. Chen returns with preliminary results. She sits down with Simone and Adrian while Piper naps in the adjoining room, exhausted from the day. The diagnosis was correct. It is acute lymphoblastic leukemia, but the standard protocols failed because they didn't account for her hybrid biology. Dr. Chen pulls up images on her tablet. Her vampire cells are actually trying to fight the cancer, but without proper support, they can't overcome the disease. The human treatments were actively interfering with her natural defenses. So, what do? Simone asks. We use a modified protocol developed specifically for hybrid children. It combines targeted chemotherapy, much lower doses than standard treatment, with supplements that support her vampire physiology. Essentially, we're not trying to do all the work ourselves. We're helping her body do what it's already trying to do. Dr. Chen looks between them. The success rate for hybrids treated this way is extremely high. Over 90% achieve full remission. Simone's breath shudders out of her. 90%? Given Piper's age and overall health, I'd put her odds even higher. If we'd caught it earlier, we could have avoided some of the complications. But even now, I'm very optimistic. How long? Adrian asks. His voice is carefully controlled, but Simone can hear the tension underneath. The full protocol is 6 months of active treatment, followed by 2 years of maintenance therapy. But we should see significant improvement within the first month. She'll regain energy, the bruising will stop, her blood counts will normalize. Dr. Chen smiles. She's going to be okay. Simone puts her face in her hands and sobs. Adrian's hand finds her shoulder again, steady and grounding. When do we start? He asks Dr. Chen. I'd like to start tomorrow if possible. The sooner we begin, the better. Whatever you need. Dr. Chen leaves them to discuss details with her team. Simone finally lifts her head, wiping her eyes. I'm sorry, she says. I've been preparing myself for the worst for so long. Don't apologize. Adrian hands her a handkerchief that's probably worth more than her monthly rent. You've been carrying impossible weight. You're allowed to break down when someone finally helps you put it down. They sit in silence for a moment. From the other room comes the soft sound of Piper's breathing. Adrian, Simone says quietly, what happens after? After she's better? What do you mean? I mean, what do you want? In terms of custody or visitation or... She trails off, not sure how to ask what she's asking. Adrian is quiet for a long moment. What do you want? He finally asks. I want Piper to know her father, to have you in her life. Simone twists the handkerchief in her hands. But I also don't know how that works. You live in Seattle. You run a company. She gestures vaguely. You. I'm also a father. Something I didn't know I was until yesterday. But something I'm taking very seriously now. Adrian leans forward, elbows on his knees. I don't want occasional visitations, Simone. I don't want to be a distant figure who shows up on holidays. I want to be present. How do we do that? I don't know yet, but I know we'll figure it out together. He looks at her directly. I'm not going to take Piper from you. You're her mother. You've been everything to her. But I'd like to be part of this. Part of her life. Part of both your lives. If you'll let me. Before Simone can respond, a small voice comes from the doorway. Are you fighting? They both turn. Piper is standing in the doorway, rubbing her eyes, looking worried. No, baby, Simone says immediately. We're not fighting. We're just talking about how to make sure you see your dad a lot after you're better. Oh, Piper pads over and climbs onto the couch between them. Can he live with us? The question is so innocent, so direct that both adults freeze. Adrian starts. Your dad lives far away, Simone tries to explain. He has to work in Seattle. But he's here now, Piper points out with 6-year-old logic. And he said he's staying? So can't he just stay at our house? Adrian looks at Simone helplessly. She looks back, equally lost. We'll figure something out, Adrian finally says. But yes, you're going to see me a lot. Every day, probably. Until you're better. And after that, we'll make sure I'm around as much as possible. Good. Piper leans against him, completely trusting. I like having a dad. Adrian's arm comes around her carefully, as though he's holding something infinitely precious and slightly terrifying. His black eyes meet Simone's over their daughter's head, and Simone sees her own overwhelmed wonder reflected back at her. They sit like that for a long time. The three of them together for the first time, while the Seattle afternoon light fades outside the windows, and the future stretches out before them, uncertain but no longer quite so frightening. Treatment begins the next day. Adrian has arranged everything. He's rented a house near the hospital. Not a mansion, but a comfortable 4-bedroom with a yard where Piper can play between treatments. Simone tries to argue, but Adrian simply asks, Would you prefer to do this commute from your apartment every day? And she has to admit that no, she wouldn't. The house is beautiful. Piper gets the bedroom with the window seat. Simone gets the master suite, which has more space than her entire apartment. Adrian takes the smallest bedroom, though Simone suspects he doesn't really sleep much anyway. The first week is the hardest. Piper's body reacts to the new treatment protocol, and she spends a lot of time feeling sick. But Dr. Chen and her team are attentive, adjusting doses, managing symptoms. and Adrian is there for all of it. He learns how to hold Piper's hair back when she's nauseous. He figures out that she'll eat small bites of fruit even when nothing else appeals. He sits with her during long afternoon naps, reading aloud from chapter books, or simply working on his laptop while she sleeps. Simone watches him transform from a distant, controlled business executive into something softer. He's still clearly powerful. There's something in the way he moves, the way people defer to him, that speaks to his true nature. But with Piper, he's gentle, patient, present in a way Simone suspects is unusual for him. One night, 2 weeks into treatment, Simone comes downstairs for water and finds Adrian in the kitchen. It's 3 a.m. He's staring out the window into the dark backyard. "Can't sleep?" she asks. "Don't really need to." He glances at her. "But you should be resting." "I heard Piper coughing. Wanted to check." "I already did. She's fine. Just dry air. I put the humidifier on." Simone gets her water and leans against the counter. "You're good at this." "At what?" "Being a dad." Adrian is quiet for a moment. "I don't feel good at it. I feel like I'm making it up as I go." "That's literally what all parents do." "You make it look easy." "Adrian, I once forgot to feed her breakfast for 3 days in a row because I was working double shifts and lost track of time. I'm not winning any parenting awards. She's alive. She's healthy. Or she was until she got sick, which isn't your fault. She's kind and creative and brave. You did that alone." He turns to face her fully. "You're remarkable." Simone feels heat creep into her cheeks. "I'm just trying to survive." "You're doing more than surviving. You're raising an extraordinary child in impossible circumstances." They look at each other across the kitchen. The moment stretches, charged with something Simone can't quite name. Then Adrian looks away. "I should let you sleep," he says. "Adrian." She doesn't know what she's going to say until she says it. "Thank you for everything. I know I keep saying it, but I don't think you understand how completely you've changed our lives. I'm her father. This is what I'm supposed to do. You could have sent money and doctors and stayed in Seattle. You didn't have to uproot your life." "Yes, I did." Adrian's voice is quiet but absolute. "The company can run without me for a few months. Board meetings can happen remotely. But Piper can't do this without her father present. So I'm here." "Is this weird for you, living with strangers?" "You're not strangers. You're—" He pauses, seeming to search for words. "Your family." The word hangs in the air between them, new and fragile. "Yeah," Simone says softly. "I guess we are." 6 weeks into treatment, Piper has a breakthrough day. Dr. Chen reviews her latest blood work and announces that her numbers are the best they've been since diagnosis. The leukemia is responding to treatment even better than expected. Piper has more energy. The constant bruising has stopped. She's actually gaining weight. That evening, they celebrate with ice cream sundaes. Piper makes hers so elaborate it's barely edible, piling on toppings until the whole thing collapses sideways. Adrian helps her reconstruct it with engineering precision that makes Piper giggle. After Piper's in bed, Simone finds Adrian on the back porch. He's looking up at the stars, something thoughtful in his expression. "She's going to be okay," Simone says, sitting down beside him. "Yes, she is." We're almost 2 months in, 4 more months of active treatment, and then maintenance therapy, which Dr. Chen says she can do mostly from home. "I know." Adrian doesn't look at her. "I've been thinking about what happens after." Simone's stomach tightens. "You want to go back to Seattle?" "I don't, actually. That's the problem." "That's a problem?" Adrian finally looks at her. "I have responsibilities. A company to run, a position in the vampire community that requires presence and attention. I can't stay in Portland indefinitely." "I know. I've been thinking about that too. But I also can't leave. Can't go back to seeing Piper on weekends or holidays. Can't—" He stops, jaw tightening. "I've missed 6 years of her life. I don't want to miss any more." "So what do we do?" "I have a suggestion, but I'm not sure how you'll feel about it." Simone's heart beats faster. "Tell me." "Come to Seattle. You and Piper both. I have a house there, significantly larger than this one. You'd each have your own space. Piper could attend an excellent private school with a nurse on staff who could manage her maintenance treatment. The vampire community there is more established. She'd have access to other hybrid children, support systems we don't have here. Adrian, I'm not asking you to be with me, he says quickly. I'm not trying to manipulate the situation. You'd have complete independence, your own wing of the house, your own life. But Piper would have her father present, and you wouldn't have to work. You could focus on her, on yourself, on whatever you want to do. Simone's mind spins. That's a huge ask. I know. I'd be leaving everything. My job, my apartment, Mrs. Park. I know. And if you say no, I'll figure something else out. I'll get an apartment here, split my time, do whatever it takes. But this way, he pauses. This way, we could be a family. Not a traditional one, maybe, but a real one. You'd want that? After 2 months? Simone. Adrian turns to face her fully. Piper is my daughter. I would do anything for her. And you. He stops, something flickering across his usually controlled expression. You're extraordinary. You've been patient with me while I figure out how to be a father. You've trusted me with your most precious thing. And I've watched you these past weeks, and I've seen how hard you work, how much you love her, how strong you are. He pauses. I'd like the chance to make your life easier. Both your lives. If you'll let me. Simone doesn't answer immediately. She thinks about the house, about treatment, about watching Adrian with Piper. She thinks about 7 years of struggling alone, of working double shifts, of crying herself to sleep while trying to be strong for her daughter. She thinks about the way Adrian looks at Piper like she hung the stars. The way he learned to braid hair from YouTube videos because Piper asked. The way he researches every single ingredient in every medication to make sure it's safe for hybrid children. She thinks about not being alone anymore. I need time to think about it, she says finally. It's a lot. Of course, take all the time you need. But even as she says it, Simone knows what her answer will be. 3 months into treatment, they have their first real crisis. Piper develops a complication, an infection that her compromised immune system can't fight off. She spikes a fever of 104 and has to be hospitalized. Simone rides in the ambulance with her while Adrian follows in his car, driving with the kind of controlled precision that barely masks his fear. In the hospital, they admit Piper to the pediatric ICU. Simone holds her daughter's hand while nurses hook up IVs and monitors. Piper is only semi-conscious, feverish and confused. Mama, she whispers at one point. Where's Dad? I'm here. Adrian appears at her other side, taking her free hand. I'm right here, sweetheart. Don't leave. I'm not going anywhere. The night is long and terrifying. The fever won't break. Dr. Chen adjusts antibiotics, brings in specialists, monitors Piper's vitals with increasing concern. At one point, she pulls Simone and Adrian aside. This is serious, she says quietly. Her body is struggling to fight this infection while maintaining the gains we've made against the leukemia. The next 24 hours are critical. Simone feels the world tilt. Adrian's hand finds hers, gripping tight. What can we do? He asks. Be here, talk to her. Let her know you're present. Sometimes that matters more than medicine. So they stay. Simone on one side, Adrian on the other, both holding Piper's hands. They talk to her, even when she doesn't respond. Simone tells stories from when Piper was a baby. Adrian reads from her favorite books, does silly voices for different characters, describes all the dragons they'll draw together when she's better. At 3 a.m, when Simone is dozing in her chair and Adrian is reading aloud quietly, Piper's fever finally breaks. She opens her eyes, those distinctive black eyes, and focuses on Adrian's face. You stayed, she whispers. I told you I would. You're a good dad. Adrian's breath catches audibly. He leans forward and kisses her forehead gently. You're an extraordinary daughter. Piper drifts back to sleep, but this time it's peaceful. Her vitals stabilize. By morning, she's clearly improved. Dr. Chen examines her and declares the worst past. She'll need to stay here a few more days, she says, but she's going to be fine. In the hallway outside Piper's room, Simone finally breaks down completely. All the terror of the past 24 hours crashes over her. Adrian pulls her into his arms without hesitation, holding her while she sobs into his chest. "I thought we were going to lose her," Simone gasps. "I thought—" "We didn't. She's okay." "She's going to be okay. I can't do this alone anymore. I can't." "You don't have to." Adrian's arms tighten around her. "You're not alone, Simone. You haven't been for months, and you never will be again." Simone looks up at him, her face wet with tears. "Seattle," she says. We'll come to Seattle. After she's done with treatment. We'll come." Something in Adrian's carefully controlled expression breaks open. "You're sure?" "I'm sure. You're right. We can be a family, however that looks." Adrian rests his forehead against hers for just a moment, a gesture so intimate it makes Simone's breath catch. Then he pulls back, composing himself. "Thank you," he says quietly, "for trusting me with this. You've earned it." The final 3 months of treatment pass in a blur. Piper's infection fully resolves. Her body responds beautifully to the continued protocol. By the 5th month, Dr. Chen declares that the leukemia is in complete remission. The final month is spent transitioning to maintenance therapy, much gentler, much easier to manage. During this time, Adrian begins making arrangements. He has his house in Seattle prepared, ensuring Piper's room is perfect, painted her favorite colors, filled with art supplies and bookshelves waiting for her dragon drawings. He arranges for her enrollment at a small private school known for accommodating special medical needs. He connects with the local hybrid support network, finding other children like Piper who can help her understand her dual nature as she grows. He also does something Simone doesn't expect. He pays off the lease on her apartment, has a moving company pack everything, and ships it all to Seattle, not erasing her past, but bringing it forward with them. On their last day in Portland, Mrs. Park comes to say goodbye. She hugs Piper tightly, then pulls Simone aside. "That man," she says, gesturing at Adrian, who's loading the last boxes into the car. "He's good. Don't let him go." "We're not together," Simone protests. "Not like that." Mrs. Park gives her a look that says she knows better. "He looks at you both like you're his whole world, and you look at him like you're trying not to admit you feel the same. Don't wait too long to figure it out." Simone doesn't know what to say to that. Seattle is different. The house is beautiful, a modern design with huge windows overlooking Puget Sound. Piper's room is everything Adrian promised. Simone's wing has a suite with a bathroom bigger than her old bedroom, a sitting area, and a balcony with water views. Adrian's wing is on the opposite end of the house. Close enough for family, far enough for privacy. Piper adapts quickly, her new school is wonderful, and she makes friends with startling speed. The maintenance therapy is manageable, oral medications she takes at home, monthly checkups with Dr. Chen's colleague in Seattle. Her energy returns fully. She starts playing soccer, something she'd always wanted to try. Adrian teaches her to swim in his pool. He takes her to the aquarium every weekend. He helps with homework and attends school events and coaches her through the social dramas of 6-year-old friendship dynamics. And slowly, carefully, he begins teaching her about her vampire heritage. Nothing frightening, just simple things. How to sense emotions in others. How to move very quietly when she wants to. How to understand that her night vision is better than other kids. And why. Simone watches them together and feels her heart expand painfully. This is what she wanted for Piper. This presence, this attention, this love. She also watches Adrian in other moments, when he's working in his study, completely focused, when he's on calls with his company, that commanding edge returning to his voice, when he moves through the house with that predatory grace that reminds her he's something more than human. And she notices how he looks at her sometimes when he thinks she's not paying attention, how his eyes track her across rooms, how his voice softens when he says her name. 7 months after treatment began, Dr. Chen declares Piper in full, stable remission. They celebrate with a party. Adrian invites some vampire colleagues who have hybrid children, so Piper can see she's not alone. There's cake and presents and balloons. Piper wears a dress she picked out herself, purple with dragons embroidered on it, and her smile is bright and healthy and real. That night, after Piper's asleep, Simone finds Adrian on the terrace overlooking the Sound. The Seattle skyline glitters across the water. "She's going to be okay," Simone says, coming to stand beside him. "She is." Adrian looks down at her. "You both are. Thanks to you. Thanks to all of us." He pauses. "You know, when I opened that envelope 7 months ago, I thought my life was ending. I thought I'd failed some fundamental test of existence, that I had a dying child I'd never known about, that I'd missed 6 years I could never get back. And now? Now I think that envelope was the beginning of everything that matters." Adrian turns to face her fully. The moonlight catches his black eyes, making them reflect like dark water. "I don't regret the lost years. They're gone. But I'm grateful for every day since." Simone's heart pounds. "Adrian, I know what we agreed. Separate lives, independence, co-parenting without complications." His voice is low, careful. "But I need to tell you something, Simone. And after I say it, if you want to maintain those boundaries, I'll respect that completely." "What is it?" "I'm in love with you." Simone's breath catches. "I've been falling for you since that first night at the grocery store, watching you finish your shift with dignity despite your exhaustion. I've fallen deeper every day since, watching you be strong for Piper, watching you trust me with your most precious thing, watching you build this life we have now." Adrian doesn't touch her, though she can see the tension in his frame, the restraint. "I'm not asking for anything. I just needed you to know." Simone stares at him. "You're in love with me." "Yes." The grocery store clerk with bad credit and a dying kid. The remarkable woman who raised an extraordinary child alone, who sent a letter that changed my existence, who's been teaching me what family means. "Adrian." Simone steps closer. "I've been trying not to fall for you, because this situation is complicated enough, because I didn't want to mess up what we're building for Piper. Because I was scared. And now? Now I think I'm done being scared." She reaches up and touches his face, cool skin, sharp features, those incredible eyes. "I think I've been in love with you for months. I just didn't let myself admit it." Adrian closes his eyes briefly, like he's absorbing the words. When he opens them again, there's something fierce and tender in his expression. "Can I kiss you?" he asks quietly. "Yes." He does. It's soft at first, careful, like he's afraid she'll break. But Simone presses closer, and the kiss deepens. It's nothing like their one night 7 years ago. That was strangers finding brief connection. This is something else entirely. This is months of tension and trust, and slowly built intimacy, finally finding expression. When they finally break apart, Adrian rests his forehead against hers. "So what does this mean?" Simone asks breathlessly. "It means we stop pretending we're just co-parents. It means we let this be what it actually is. Which is a family, a real one, in every sense." Simone laughs, the sound surprised and happy. "Mrs. Park is going to be so smug." "Who?" "Never mind." Simone kisses him again. "So we're doing this? Really?" "If you want to. I want to." They stand on the terrace, holding each other while the city lights reflect off the water and the future unfolds before them. Uncertain, complicated, but theirs. 6 months later, Adrian officially proposes. Not in some grand public gesture, but on an ordinary Tuesday morning in the kitchen. Piper is at school. Simone is making coffee. Adrian walks in from his morning run, something he's taken up because Piper likes having breakfast together as a family, and just says, "Marry me." Simone turns, coffee pot in hand. "What?" "Marry me." Adrian crosses to her, taking the coffee pot and setting it aside carefully. "I know we're already living together, raising Piper together, building a life together. But I want it official. I want everyone to know you're mine, and I'm yours, and Piper has both her parents permanently. That's possibly the least romantic proposal ever," Simone says, but she's smiling. "Would you prefer I hire a flash mob? Rent a billboard?" "God, no!" She loops her arms around his neck. "But maybe something about love would be nice. I love you. I love Piper. I love this life we've built. I want to keep building it together, legally and publicly and permanently." Adrian pulls a ring from his pocket, a simple, elegant band with a dark stone that catches the light. Simone Reeves, will you marry me? Yes, Simone says immediately. Obviously, yes. He slides the ring onto her finger. It fits perfectly. That evening, they tell Piper together. She's 7 now, healthy and thriving, with art projects covering every surface of her room and a soccer trophy on her dresser. We have something to tell you, Adrian begins. Are you having a baby? Piper asks immediately. Both adults freeze. Why would you? Simone starts. Because Taylor at school's parents told her they were getting married and then they had a baby. So I figured. No baby, Adrian says quickly. Not yet, anyway. But yes, your mother and I are getting married. Piper considers this. So, you'll be married? Like all the way? All the way, Simone confirms. Good. Piper returns to her dragon drawing. It was weird when you were pretending you didn't like each other. Everyone could tell you did. After they've left her room, Adrian looks at Simone. Were we really that obvious? Apparently. They collapse on the couch together, laughing. And in that moment, Simone thinks about the journey that brought them here. From a desperate letter to a paternity test to that first terrifying meeting. From hospital rooms and treatment protocols to remission and recovery. From carefully maintained boundaries to this. Engagement, family, future. Thank you, she says quietly. For what? For opening that envelope. For coming to Portland. For staying. For all of it. Adrian pulls her closer. Thank you for sending it. For trusting me. For letting me be part of this. I can't imagine it any other way now. Neither can I. Outside, the Seattle evening settles over the city. In her room, Piper hums while she draws her dragons. And in the living room, Adrian and Simone sit together, planning their wedding, discussing their future, building the life that started with a single desperate letter, and a paternity test, and the courage to ask for help. Piper's latest drawing is taped to the refrigerator, a family portrait featuring 3 figures with matching night-black eyes, surrounded by dragons in every color. Underneath, in her careful printing, she's written, My family, we are magic. And looking at it, Simone thinks that maybe, just maybe, she's exactly right.